Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. So we are back for the 2025 slot 2 analysis. Okay.
Hey, everybody.
So yeah, I think let's we had initially spoken with multiple of our students and other faculties about how they found the paper. So this is just a complete summary of those. So I think let's just jump into it and we'll start with the VRC, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, so this was mostly what we had. I think more or less, I would say it is similar to what we had seen back in your slot one. Uh, Readability will be on the lower side, but again, difficulty level of the questions were on the slightly on the higher side, I guess.
Right. I did get some mixed review from the students.
Mhm.
Um, I think I've spoken to three people. One said that the questions were, two said that the questions were tricky.
Mhm.
Passages were, um, two said questions were easy, passages were a little tricky. One said the other way around. One said that passages were easy, questions were tricky. So
Mm.
we don't have a very reliable scenario right now, but that is to be understood. Like different people will, it's VARC, it's RC, it's reading. So different people will respond to it in different ways.
Right, but
Makes
I think
sense.
the most common type of feedback I think that I've also gotten is that nobody was able to do like confidently all the four questions of
All
analysis.
four questions, yes, yes. Even people who have tried three sets, they have said that we were comfortable in doing three out of four questions.
Mhm.
So
So,
each passage's two, three questions were doable, I believe.
one thing
Is
we can
this
see
due to
that
this lower than?
yeah, sir. Please go ahead.
I can say only one thing, that is it that readability is too low? Due to that reason, it is the difficult part of answering this question,
No,
or
no, no.
question is complicated.
No, question is complicated. As in even distinct from the readability. Readability is lower than last year, but question there was one. I heard
Not
that there was
only
a slightly higher mix of inferential questions. So there was one question about per set where the students, when they read the question, and then the options. I don't like, we don't, I think none of us, we know as of right now what exactly the problem was, because for that we'll need the questions. But when the students read the question, either they did not fully comprehend the question, or else they found that the options were very close and confusing, either of the two. But they were not confident in answering about one question per set. So that usually
In
people have
our
skipped one.
Shagnik, in our
Yes, sir.
last slot, in comparison to that,
Mhm.
we were trying to get some idea that question more or less it was possible kind of thing. That means
Right,
it is not that much complicated. But here
right.
you think so
Uh,
questions are also
I
complicated.
think I think Sir Shandeep was telling us something very similar, that all four passages could be done. If someone had that spectrum, they could do all four passages, but then they would not be able to do all questions. So maybe one passage, if I remember correctly, the GDP economy one, they could probably answer all four questions. The rest of the passages, they would mostly be able to answer two to three questions. Three questions mostly. One they would not be able to. And I was thinking that in all probability that one vague passage, the one about change and prediction of change, which Inder spoke about at the end, the fourth one, that is something that many students would naturally drop, because they would think that this passage is very there's something beyond the difficulty of the language. The idea of the passage is very complex and vague, where one reading and you don't fully understand. Say, after one reading, you cannot fully define what the central idea of the passage was, what the passage or the author is clear, like trying to tell us. Then students, they find that very discomforting. They usually avoid passages like that. So I am assuming that most people did three. If they have answered three passages, they have dropped that prediction of change one. They've done the other three, and I hear the same thing roughly in this session as well, this shift as well, where they have done many. I heard. I believe all of them said some WhatsApp messages also. Some students messaged me. Most of them, they have said that they have attempted three passages, but they could not do all four questions. So they have attempted somewhere around 8, 9 in the RC section,
So
in the
it's almost the
RC
same
period.
as slot one, right? Like
Very
ये
much,
slot one
very
जैसा ही लग
much.
रहा है.
Yes, yes, yes. Hmm.
And also sir, one interesting thing I have seen, ये RC मतलब यहाँ पे भी AI plus language में आया है. So in the CAT in the recent years are testing current affairs also a bit. Like जो लोग current
Very
affairs में
much.
थोड़ा बहुत knowledgeable है, वो they can easily go through a reading part at least.
Yeah.
Right.
In
Right. On
touch,
that,
they will be in touch.
on that,
Exactly.
Shahideen,
Like last slot in case of VARC, you have said that Trump,
The tariff
America,
हाँ,
war.
this
and
tariff
even
and
that set about the RC passage about why people commit crimes, physicians particularly.
correct,
It is topical. It is something that is in the news, sensationalist news, yes. But recent time it has been
correct, correct.
some there have been some cases recently. So yes, I do believe that they set the paper around Augustish. But in the previous years, I've seen some cases where the passages were selected from about a year or so back from when the test was conducted, when the paper
Mhm.
was made. But this year it seems like they have taken more recent time. If we look at the passages here, the passages that we have noted, AI plus language, AI I believe has also featured very heavily last year and last year
Correct, correct.
definitely. Last to last year also there were some topics from AI, and very
Last year
naturally
slot
this.
3 only, I guess.
Yes, there was one shift when
Correct,
there was a
correct.
topic. So AI is such a big deal this last year or so, these last 2 years or so. It has to feature. Literature and author is, I believe here what most students would have avoided, because most students, they have a bit of an aversion to literature,
Correct, correct,
and
correct.
they think that
लैंग्वेज एंड
as
फिलोसॉफी मतलब वो देख के ही छोड़ देना है.
हाँ, मतलब जनरली ऐसा होता है कि वो लैंग्वेज या लिटरेचर देखते हैं और सोचते हैं कि सुनो, लिटरेचर वाले ने पैसेज लिखा है तो पक्का कॉम्प्लेक्स
पक्का
होगा,
टफ ही होगा.
घुमा फिरा के लिखेगा, जलेबी
करेक्ट,
होगी.
करेक्ट.
So they would have dropped probably this one. Blind fish is surprising. I don't recall if we had, one second, if we had a passage like this in the previous session. I remember there were 2, 3 passages from last year, and every year we get some passages from ecology, ecosystem,
इकोलॉजिकल या
like plant life, animal life, something like that. So
2022 से चल रहा है, 2022 में भी आया.
22 से चल रहा है, yes. 22 में there was that, नहीं, 23 में there was
स्लॉट 2
that,
में इकोल वो था, हाँ.
23 में there was that passage about wolf population
फुल
France
फुल
का.
पॉपुलेशन.
Last year there was that passage about bandicoots, western barred bandicoots,
या
Australia का जो marsupial है.
Australia's slot one.
Right.
स्लॉट 1.
This time we have the blind fish one. Now the title itself, blind fish, is so interesting. I'm
या
very eager to read this passage. It would be lot of fun, I believe.
एंड
Lot of fun.
आजकल
Sounds
कैट
like
में
a
सर
card
जो
game.
एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पैसेजेस अवॉइड ही कर रहा है शायद. एब्स्ट्रैक्ट अभी उतना कुछ ला नहीं रहा. सो दे
हाँ,
वांट टू टेस्ट द स्टूडेंट्स बेस्ड ऑन द ऑप्शंस ओनली. ट्रैप्स ऑप्शंस में सेट
correct,
करूंगा, तुम रीड कर लो,
correct.
फिर ऑप्शंस में फंसाऊंगा.
Which is a very scary thing.
या दैट इज
But though
बिकॉज
that's
यू कांट
that
इवन लीव
is
द
a
आरसी.
right. You cannot leave RC because obviously RC versus VA, the ratio is 2/3 to 1/3 of the section.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट,
So you cannot err on the side of 1/3 to drop the 2/3. That
करेक्ट,
would not be a
करेक्ट,
good selection.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट.
But the blind fish thing was tough, which is very unlike last year. Last year, Western Bar Bandicoots was not
वाज इजियर.
just not just an easy passage. It was one of the easiest passages I've seen in the last 3 to 4 years.
ओके,
Even
ओके.
considering the questions, I believe the passage and all the questions were all easy.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट.
Hmm.
Mostly local questions were there, like from the
Hmm.
from the passage itself. Yeah.
Correct. True. So let's go over to I think any other observations, or should we go over to the VA?
I think we can move ahead to VA part.
Okay. Yeah.
So what about the verbal? This we had covered, right?
Verbal, there was only, I believe, a mix, a change in the mix of difficulty. So some shifting between easy to medium between the topics. But first things first, the 2 into 4 question. Of course, 2 into 4, if they've selected that as the mode this year, between shifts, that's not going to change. It would not
Correct, sir.
become 3-3-2 in any of the later shifts.
It will never, like the cat will never
Ha,
do.
No, it would
that
be
is,
two
that
to
is
two.
not
But there is a
that is
little
not going
flip,
to happen.
like in the previous slot, I think para completion was the easy to moderate.
Yeah, it was easy to moderate. Over here, we are getting the feedback that it
Moderate
was
to
moderate
difficult,
difficult.
whether jumbles is now easy.
Yeah.
I
So para
also
completion over here, both the para completions were tricky. Like we are getting the feedback right now.
Right. I also got a feedback from 1 or 2 students. One student in particular, he said that none of the passages in the VA were very, because you don't have passages as such functioning as passages in the four-liners odd statement. Those are statement based, but summary and para completion, none were lengthy. So there were some lengthy
Hmm.
questions last year also, but this year none of those questions were lengthy, but they were tricky. So again, as Inder was saying, or was it Chandip you said, that you can answer sure, you can read the passage sure. The trick, मैं twist करूंगा तुमको in the
Options.
options close होंगे.
Okay.
That generally seems to be the focus this year.
So overall, in slot 2, the VA portion, can we say anything conclusive with regards to its difficulty level with slot 1?
Between slot 1 and slot 2, I think there is almost near identical difficulty. Slight gradient, maybe downward for the second shift, because overall what I understand from the second shift is that in the second shift RCs were comparatively a bit more doable. Verbal was a bit more complicated versus first shift. Verbal was complicated, but RC might have been equally complicated because of the readability issue of the passages. So very similar, only 2-3% difference, maybe maximum 5% difference, but I'll say it has a slight lowering in the second shift, I
What
believe.
do you think about Shagnik? There is
Yes, sir.
a jumble sentence,
Yes,
which
sir.
is we are considering that here it is comparatively easy.
Mhm.
Normally, in our CAT trend,
Right.
what is the jumble sentence as per the difficulty level of this BA altogether? 8 questions. Out of that
VA
jumble sentence, easier variety, have we seen earlier or not? What do you
We
think?
have seen easy off and on mixture. But the VA, it is very very switchy, because if we have 2 to 3, we have 2 to 3 questions of every topic. We always see usually medium tough, sometimes easy. Easy is not very common, but it is usually that students, if they answer, because let's keep in mind both these topics, and particularly the one that you are asking about, sir, four-liners. It is a theta topic. So here students will answer the question. If they move fast, if they quick answer the question, then there is no loss of time. They are good in terms of the overall section. If they do that, I would say, had there been a medium to tough question mix, then there would generally be a chance that most students would get one correct, one incorrect. And here this is theta, so no negative marking. So that one correct counts, that one incorrect, they didn't waste any time, they're good. But this year, if we actually find that this pans out and the questions are easy comparatively, which is very much aligned with, I keep referring to 2023. If you remember 23 to 24, when odd man was removed for the new para completion questions, the year after that was 2022. The year after that, 2023, odd man returned. And odd man was a higher concentration of medium questions, some easy questions, lower concentration of tough questions. So by that front, it makes sense, because four-liners has returned after 1 year's gap. So in this case, it was easy. We might actually find that the previous one also might have felt tricky, but in the actual solving, I might find that it's a medium to tough or a medium. Maybe. We'll reserve that judgment till after we get the
I
questions.
think,
One
yeah,
thing I
that.
want to add, sir. One thing I
Yes.
want to add. The jumbles might seem to be easy this time in slot 2, but the thing is what makes VA even tougher in slot 2 is that since para completion tough है ना, तो अभी एक साल से बच्चे लोग ना para completion ही para completion ये प्रैक्टिस करते जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनका
Correct.
दिमाग में ये है कि जंबल सेंटेंस आया नहीं है,
हाँ,
तो
और
वो
प्लस जंबल
attempt
सेंटर
नहीं
अगर
कर
आता भी है तो
सकते।
जनरली
तो भी
स्टूडेंट्स
तो भी भाई वहाँ पे फंबल होने का चांसेस है, या तो मैं अटेम्प्ट नहीं
हाँ
करूंगा, मैं पहले सोचूंगा मेरा प्रैक्टिस अभी है नहीं, सो मैं शायद
करेक्ट
वो उसको
करेक्ट
पहले अटेम्प्ट ना करूं। So इसलिए
करेक्ट
पैरा कंप्लीशन इजी होना, दैट इज अ मच मोर बेनिफिशियल फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स रादर देन जंबल्स वाला इजी होना। तो ये
करेक्ट
जंबल्स इजी है, बट आई डोंट थिंक कि बच्चे फिर भी इसको बहुत अच्छे से कर पाए होंगे, क्योंकि अभी दिमाग में ये होगा कि पैरा जंबल अभी आया है नया, तो भाई लास्ट में करूंगा। सो ये एक थॉट प्रोसेस हो सकता है। सो
हो
आई फील
सकता
कि
है पॉसिबल।
बीए वाला
But one
पार्ट
good thing
स्लॉट वन
is,
से टफर है थोड़ा।
but one good thing is that like हमारे like because we had given equal amount of priority to all the 4 topics, so practice for our students have been like thorough for all 4 of them,
True,
because
true,
we have been predicting that jumbles might make a
true.
comeback.
True. I have continuously I have asked the students. I have kept on hammering onto them. Do not drop jumble sentence. Do not drop jumble sentence. It is very likely. In fact, from the very beginning, I've said it's very likely to make a comeback this year, and it did. So makes sense.
Okay, I think let's we can then move on to the DILR part.
Yes.
Okay,
Right,
now
right.
the DLR story is now slightly different. Okay, the thing is that we are seeing around
We are
two
seeing
easy to
around two easy
moderate,
to medium
easy
sets
to medium
over in
sets.
slot 2, so that's a good thing for the students at least.
So there were two DI sets compared to only one DI set in slot 1, which was the major difference. The second part is surprisingly the second DI set, the bar graph set was of the difficult part. That was of the difficult kind. There was one LR set which was on the doable range, which was regarding 5 6 I think there were 5 balls and 4 hoops, or 6 balls and 4 hoops. Okay.
If I may interrupt in the one moment, but this joke is necessary. You see that we always say that the cat does not have does not have any focus on general awareness. This one set 5 is on AQI, air quality
Right,
index,
right,
pollution index, etc. The
right.
previous set we had one question on crimes, physicians committing murders. I mean, who says cat doesn't look into current affairs
Right, 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 right.
So in a different format.
in a different
It, i- it,
format?
i- it is going to the set formation, or it is giving these RC passage.
Yes.
So
True,
like
true.
that it is
And
going
and
on.
one thing I want to add, like when we made the video on analyzing the convener and how the like how like what can be the expected paper of this year, so we came up with that कि LRDA के सेट्स में शेड्यूलिंग वगैरह का आ सकता है, शेड्यूलिंग
Mhm.
रूट्स एंड नेटवर्क्स थोड़ा मतलब
Yeah,
एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड आ सकता है
we
ना, हर एक
mentioned that
सेट
DI is going to
एप्लीकेशन
make
बेस्ड
a
ही है।
comeback.
करेक्ट
Yeah,
करेक्ट
yeah,
करेक्ट।
Right.
So
yeah.
we were
Those,
bang on that कि शेड्यूलिंग और रूट्स एंड नेटवर्क्स और एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आएंगे। एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड हर एक सेट में एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड है, कहीं पे ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब जहाँ पे लाइक नॉर्मल अरेंजमेंट वाला सेट है, या तो मतलब हर जगह पे एक कॉम्प्लेक्स सिनेरियो को लेके ही तुमको सॉल्व करना है।
right.
So you won't be able to just
A type of
bulldoze the
case
set.
study.
Yeah,
Yeah, those who are on our
correct correct.
channel for the first time, okay, for them, I would like to let you know that on our channel itself, if you just go to your videos, you will be able to find our video on on the cat convener, his background and the kind of questions that we will be expecting in 2025. And I think that would give you a very good idea of how much of our predictions did match the one which Sandeep has been mentioning. Okay, yeah, let's continue. So I think compared to slot 1, where there was only one set which was on the doable side, here we had two. But again, there can be multiple factors coming into play. Number one, because there might be some some um, leakage of information to slot 2 students about how slot 1 went. So there might be possible that the students who went into the exam, they directly started doing the DI set and tried to avoid the LR set. And as you can see, that if anybody selected the wrong DI set, it's going to create a huge amount of problem for them, which is why it is
One
very
sir,
important
one
never
sir,
to.
True, true.
Inder sir, I'm getting a feedback कि जो LRDA का जो बार ग्राफ वाला सेट था ना, so that was not tempting also. Like it had a lot of variables and like वो पहले ही देख के बच्चे लोग समझ गए थे, मतलब ये फीडबैक अभी आ रहा है, I'm not sure how true it is, but a lot of students did not even spend time on that
That's a
because
good thing then. That's a
yeah,
good
that's a
thing
good
then.
thing. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Correct.
But then again, we had a arrangement kind of a pure LR kind of a set, which was of the easy to moderate kind.
Correct,
And these
correct.
hoops and balls, whatever got this image that it would be the easiest set of the entire slot. That's kinds of impression I have received.
Okay, 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 okay. Could be. I
What
think
what kind of arrangement was this?
That's not clear, but some kinds of ring and within that balls and
Okay.
something
some
related to the
inequality
size of
kinds
the
of.
hoops.
Got
So
it. Got it.
Ultimately, questions were in inequality format, not
yeah,
direct.
so basically, if you have a hoop which is of a
Oh,
radius 10,
interesting.
yeah, if you have a hoop of a radius 10, then
Huh.
balls of radius 10 or lower can go into it.
Acha,
Right,
okay,
right.
got it, got it.
Yeah.
Understood,
So
understood.
that was it was based on that concept.
Understood.
That the balls cannot be bigger than the hoop, but the other way around is possible.
Kind of like थोड़ा सा उसके जैसा ना, remember वो boat puzzles होते हैं ना कि
Correct.
इतना weight वाला बोट पे चढ़ पाएगा तो उधर
हाँ
जाएगा फिर
हाँ
वापस
हाँ,
आएगा,
एक
वो उस
मैक्स
टाइप
कैप
का.
है, एक मैक्स कैप है और उसके लोअर वाले पॉसिबल
Got
है.
it,
It is
got
kind
it,
of similar
understood.
to this LR set which was there in slot 1 as well. ठीक है कि if somebody is going from B to E, then automatically इसका मतलब है B C D E तीनों चारों हो जाएंगे.
Correct.
ठीक है?
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
So it was kind of like that also in those lines.
Understood, understood.
So yeah, more or less I think this is the section which is going to be the game changer between slot 1 and slot 2.
Yes.
Okay, because when you have around 2 sets which were on the doable range, then that is going to heavily influence your
करेक्ट
you know
करेक्ट
your
क्योंकि उससे
normalization.
डायरेक्टली एक सेट मतलब 12-15 मार्क्स, तो वहां पे डायरेक्टली वो जंप आ जाएगा ना जो
Correct.
यहाँ पे बच्चे लोग नहीं कर पा रहे. करेक्ट.
Hmm.
So I think this LRDA slot 2 का was definitely a tad easier than slot 1.
Hmm.
Right.
VARC was a bit difficult because of VA part, I feel, because of like ARC तो दोनों का more or less same ही लगा मेरे को from the feedback I got, but
अब देखते
VA
हैं
I guess
quants
maybe
का
one question
फिर देखते हैं.
easier in VA,
अच्छा
sorry, one question tougher in VA. And
before we move on, again a good can we have a prediction about the good number of attempts here? Two or three questions more than what we predicted for slot 1, I think.
correct
About 2 questions more.
yeah
Yes.
yeah about 2 questions for sure, about 2 questions. So क्योंकि यहाँ पे 2 सेट कंप्लीटली कर सकते थे बच्चे, so 9 क्वेश्चंस तो कर सकते थे. अब उसके ऊपर फिर अब एक और चीज जो इम्पोर्टेंट यहाँ पे है कि बार ग्राफ में माइट बी डिफिकल्ट बट फिर भी बार ग्राफ में 1-2 क्वेश्चन निकालना जा सकता है,
Exactly, the
उतना
partial
डिफिकल्ट नहीं
solve
होता.
questions.
एग्जैक्टली.
Partial solving
अब
कर
हम
सकते हैं.
स्लॉट 1 में एक भी सेट ऐसा नहीं था जहां पे आप पार्शियल सॉल्व कर सको,
Correct.
बट यहाँ पे पार्शियल सॉल्व, एक ग्राफ में पार्शियल सॉल्व हमेशा रहता है.
Right.
सो एक आधा क्वेश्चन वहां पे भी बच्चा निकाल सकता था जो एकदम अच्छे वाले बच्चे होंगे, दो सेट करने के बाद फिर ये कर रहे हैं. ऑब्वियसली दैट कम्स इन 99.5 प्लस वाला जनता. सो तो आई फील कि 99.5 प्लस का जो गैप आएगा वहां पे ज्यादा गैप आएगा
वहाँ पे
यहाँ पे,
ज्यादा
because
गैप आएगा, वहाँ पे
correct
डेविएशन बहुत ज्यादा रहेगा.
करेक्ट 95 आई थिंक बोथ ऑफ देम विल बी ऑलमोस्ट 3-4 मार्क्स का डिफरेंस होगा स्लॉट 1 स्लॉट 2 का, बट 99.5 आई फील विल बी अ गैप ऑफ 6 to 7 मार्क्स मे बी.
Which is quite significant to be honest.
या क्वाइट सिग्निफिकेंट.
Okay, I think let's
Let's
move
go
on
to the math section.
Yeah, एक second. ठीक. One major change I think we can see here that in the previous one we had one easy PNC question, but this time there was no PNC question, but rather a huge number of questions in algebra plus number system. So I think there were 2 questions on factor concepts, remainders on factors part, which was only one in the previous set, and also the geometry in the previous one. One question was on slightly on the doable side. The 2 of them were on the trickier side. Here, the feedback that I have gotten that the 3 questions of the geometry were on the difficult side. Any other information you have, sir? Arithmetic also what we have.
So you're thinking that there is no any permutation combination questions?
No.
Not
Nothing from modern maths.
Nothing from modern math as of slot 2 for slot 2.
Like again, yeah, algebra plus numbers very heavy.
Yeah.
Like
So I think there were 8 algebra questions and
yeah,
3
three numbers
number
questions.
system questions.
But again got the feedback कि numbers and algebra is almost like overlapping types. Like numbers में भी algebra का concept है, algebra में भी numbers का concept है. So like it's kind of
हाँ, slot की
overlapping
तरह.
questions. Correct.
In case of arithmetic, any kinds of data that we have received, that what are the chapters from where? Time and work to one much easier question. This time it appeared. That's I have heard about it.
Mostly the feedback that again which we are getting is that compared to slot 1, okay, overall difficulty level you can say was kind of same, but slot 2 had more doable questions. So that would mean that it's the opposite of what we would see in DILR, where on the higher percentiles you will have more deviation. Here we can have more deviation on the lower percentiles, but on the higher percentile, if the difficulty level is same, then the scores will be more or less the same. So we will have similar marks for 99.5 percentile, 99 percentile, maybe slightly higher cutoff for quants in slot 2.
Lower percentile, 90-95 percentile.
Yeah, but if we go to 80-85 percentile range, 80
फिर सेम ही
there,
रहेगा. वो 80-85 में कोई चेंज नहीं रहेगा मेरे को लग रहा है.
maybe one question more because there were more doable questions in slot 2.
Okay.
तो ये
So
कह
85
सकता है.
percentile, what's your prediction, sir? Around 12-13 marks, 15 marks.
वैसे जैसा स्टैंडर्ड रहता है, ठीक है. आई एम थिंकिंग अराउंड 4 क्वेश्चंस में 85 परसेंटाइल टच होना चाहिए, सिमिलर टू कैट 23. हाँ, सिमिलर टू कैट 23. स्लॉट 1 में 4 क्वेश्चंस में अगर 85 के आसपास हो रहा है, तो स्लॉट 2 में 5 क्वेश्चंस में 87 के आसपास आएगा. वैसा
करेक्ट.
ठीक है. अगेन अलजेब्रा का अगेन व्हाटएवर इंफॉर्मेशन वी हैव, जैसा स्लॉट 1 में था कि क्वेश्चंस वर मोर कॉन्सेप्चुअल एंड डिफिकल्ट टू सॉल्व. Baki, do we have any more info here?
Not really. I believe that algebra plus numbers, that was the two concept type where
Correct.
more than one concept were required, but in the same question.
I'm still getting feedback from the students that overall the quant section was, this for slot 2, that it was closer in difficulty level to cat 23, but it was not of the like not doable kind. Okay, so like it was not at the level of slot 3 of cat 2023 when you're talking about quants.
Understood.
It was easier than that, but yes, there were tricky questions. The questions were not, and like students had to really put in some hard work to find those sitter questions. That effort was required, which was kind of not there when it came to 2024. 2024, finding out sitter questions, finding out moderate questions, doable questions was very easy. Here, the students had to struggle a bit.
Quite a lot.
But there some sitter questions were there. Only if your concepts were clear.
In both the slots, 5 to 6 sitters are there, no doubt about that.
Right. It's just that identifying these sitter questions might be more difficult. This year might be more difficult in the first shift versus the second.
I thought in slot 1 only 3 to 4 questions were on the.
But I think Inder sir and everyone here, since slot 2 जाने के पहले हम लोग को थोड़ा उनको सबको दिमाग में था ना कि slot 1 difficult आया है quants. So finding out the right questions might be easier in slot 2 than slot 1 क्योंकि पहले से दिमाग में है कि भाई वो पेपर टफ है,
भाई वो पेपर टफ आएगा तो स्टूडेंट्स को ऑलरेडी पता है कि ये
क्वेश्चंस करूंगा जो
उनके लिए स्ट्रेटजी सेट हो गया होगा कि हमें तो अब वो ढूंढ के वो 5 सवाल या 6 सवाल करना है जो हमारा वो कट ऑफ क्लियर कर दे.
करेक्ट. जब आप पहले शिफ्ट में जब स्टूडेंट्स जा रहे हैं तो उनको आइडिया एज सच क्लियर कोई फॉर्म्ड आइडिया नहीं है कि एग्जैक्टली क्या आएगा. So yes, we had told them that we were expecting a higher difficulty as compared to last year, and which has actually panned out. It has worked out. It was like that. But then also students would probably be surprised by the trickiness, that uptick in trickiness.
Definitely.
But because they would have had some idea that, oh, this year it was tricky, or the first shift was tricky. Second shift, probably because they were expecting that tricky nature. So it's not necessarily tough per se, but tricky rather.
More prepared, I think, mentally more
Yes,
More
they were
prepared.
mentally more prepared. So that's why they thought कि अच्छा चलो उतना भी नहीं था.
Could be, could be.
Could be.
Because
This will
it
have to
was
wait
the
for the
feedback
questions to
from slot
finalize.
one was very, very, it
Ah,
was
it
generic
hit a
throughout that it is
lot.
very difficult paper.
Yes.
This first lot, there is a lot of trouble that we have heard about it. But in case of second slot, maybe that some kinds of preparedness for
I
due to
think
reason.
I think that this also gives us some confirmation, the fact that that's what I have seen with the students that I've spoken to, gotten the feedback. I don't know if everyone, you all gentlemen, agree with me. Tell me. But जो मैंने देखा is first shift में the report that students gave us was more or less consistent, एक जैसा था. उसमें बहुत वेरिएशन नहीं था. लेकिन सेकंड शिफ्ट में वेरिएशन है. Some are saying थोड़ा tricky था, some are saying कि नहीं उतना नहीं
Shagni,
था.
it looks like that from last year, whenever the students are carrying some kinds of input from 2024 and
Right,
coming to this 25 first lot,
right.
whatever these kinds of impact and that impact already done, then in the second slot that is coming lesser. Means at that point of time, students got some kinds of idea. कुछ तो चलो
Exactly. And
ये टफर ही होगा.
I think on top of the preparedness, because the DILR was also slightly on the easier side. Because
Yes.
previously we were hearing that एक सेट बन जा रहा है, but second set में बहुत मेहनत लग रहा है, दो सेट मुश्किल से हो रहा है, and there were two sets which were on the doable side. So if somebody has had that notion that those set would be our target, they were able to achieve that. So that also gives them a mental push कि ठीक है quants में थोड़ा लग रहा है कि ये थोड़ा अच्छा better जा सकता है, so that can also be a factor.
Correct. That's a very interesting point.
That's a very important factor. वो होता है
very
actually
important
exam में.
factor.
DILR जैसा चलता है उससे आपसे quants बहुत
हाँ,
influence होता है, बहुत ज्यादा.
because DILR के बाद immediately the shift is instantaneous. तो जब बच्चे DILR से quants में जाएंगे, तो अगर DILR में धक्का लगा तो फिर वो quants में थोड़ा सा उनको unnerve करेगा. They would be like यार क्या हो रहा है? And then otherwise if it is like as you said in the जैसा you were saying, ये वाले shift में अगर DILR थोड़ा सा comfortable था, तो logical है that they would find quants also a little bit more comfortable.
Little bit.
True.
So I think if we can start wrapping up, and I
Yes.
think overall, again, from what our discussion has been with the students and overall also, I
Yes.
think maybe few marks थोड़ा ज्यादा रहेगा for the 99 percentile for slot
So
2.
normalization
But only a
wise,
little.
here it can go to this lower direction, right?
Yes.
Because I think we predicted around between 77 to
78 to
80,
80, yeah,
78
around
to 82 around हम लोग last time में predict किया था. I think इस वाले के लिए the
around
99%,
85.
yeah, it will be 5-6 marks more.
5-6 marks up, maybe.
Could be a little bit more also, but 80, 85 I think is good.
मतलब you can tell
Because
from that perspective कि VRC में 2 marks का -2 because it was tougher. -2 या -2. DILR में it might be +5 and quants में +2 maybe. So वही
Something
+5
like
के
that.
around.
+5 है. हाँ, but उससे और ज्यादा नहीं, because
उससे
No,
ज्यादा होना
उतना
मुश्किल
variation
है.
नहीं होगा, उतना
2024 से
variation
easier
हाँ
था.
हाँ, क्योंकि मतलब जितना भी हो, यू आर आउट ऑफ डुएबल क्वेश्चंस ना, उसके बाद कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, क्योंकि डुएबल
Correct.
क्वेश्चन एक शायद ज्यादा है, उससे ज्यादा तो नहीं है, मतलब
Correct.
इट्स नॉट कि
Correct.
बहुत बड़ा गैप है क्वांट्स में. सो
ठीक है, I think
Let's see for the third slot, whatever it is
हाँ,
happening.
third slot is going to end. I think अभी सबका DILR खत्म हुआ है. They are about to start their
द क्वांट्स पार्ट, या
quants part. अभी exactly 40 minutes बाकी है.
हाँ.
So let's see what feedback we get. We have I think multiple students lined up from whom we'll be
Yes,
getting
yes.
detailed analysis. So I think
True.
let's see, because it will give us a complete holistic picture of the entire
Yes.
paper of CAT. ठीक है.
True.
I think is there
In the
anything else?
meantime, I'll just quick remind those who are watching, do please shoot questions. The analysis videos would definitely be important, because I'm sure if you've taken the CAT, अगर आप लोगों ने CAT दिया है, our dear viewers, if you have taken the CAT, आप लोग कि माइंड में क्वेरी होगी कि ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर क्या था वगैरह वगैरह, यू फील फ्री टू पोस्ट क्वेश्चंस इन द during the videos. We will answer them, and also do like these, share it if possible. Any friends who are taking the cat or who have taken the cat. So more like the review videos, the pre-information part is done, but the analysis would be very helpful. So please, by all means, spread the word.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think more or less the key takeaways we have already discussed. It is
Yes.
very much similar to slot 1, but compared to slot 1, maybe the DILR part is the one which becomes the key, difference here. But
Right.
overall, I think
What-
it's the same.
What students call the make or break.
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, these I think I think we have already discussed these. ठीक है, let's, I think we can gather again
We can
at
wrap it up.
around 6:45. We'll again sit across, and we can then have another
Have
round
a
of
discussion on
analysis.
slot 3. Yes.
We'll have a discussion on slot 3.
Okay.
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 Thank
Bye,
you, everybody.
everyone.
See you again. Just okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.